Hey guys, today we're going to be looking at 100 million simulations of a Beast Mastery Hunter. We'll take into account every ability, talent, resource, cast time, cooldown buff, and debuff. We've measured all damage values on a naked level 50 with only a weapon to try and keep it fairly even between classes. We'll be seeing what rotations produce the most single target damage for an opener, and for longer sustained damage as well. So starting with the opener, these are the talents the simulator favored to maximize damage in the beginning of combat. Any talent that is a utility or overly opportunistic, for example a damage buff when the enemy is below a certain percentage of health, has been omitted from the simulation. The two red talent rows were omitted completely as they are a more personal playstyle choice. For the talents, we've got Animal Companion. 2 pets means kill commands stronger. Chimera Shot adds a no-cost strong shot that actually generates focus. A Murder of Crows, great reliable dot compared to Thrill of the Hunt, which relies on crit RNG. Stomp adds immediate strike damage to Barb Shot. This is useful as Barb Shot has a strong bleed and additionally takes 12 seconds off Bestial Wrath's cooldown, which was taken into account by the simulator. Killer Cobra. Cobra Shot instantly resets kill command while Bestial Wrath is active, which is very useful. Our first thought at seeing this talent made us feel the program would spam kill command, but it seems it quickly found out that's an inefficient way to spend focus. PvP talents were more utility rather than damage, with the exception of Dire Basilisk, which was allowed to be simulated, but was never chosen. Most likely because it is an extremely slow dot that ended up not being worth the 60 focus it costs. And finally, the rotation. I should add that the simulation doesn't give any reason why it did or didn't choose an ability at a certain time, only that with 100 million iterations it claims this will do the most damage while respecting limitations like resources and cooldowns, assuming the player is not interrupted. So on the screen, this is the rotation the simulator favored. Essentially, the simulation is saying that as a Beast Mastery Hunter, this is the best combination of abilities you can press to squeeze the most out of the class. Here I've put the rotation into an opener macro using cast sequence. And now, the same macro on a Blood Death Knight. We both only have weapons equipped at level 50. Lastly, for fun, same Blood DK but geared with an average item level of 70. Thinking of ways to test this further, we then tried dueling other BM hunters using no gear except weapons. The idea was to see who would deal damage the most efficiently. They were tough to find with marksman spec being more popular right now, but we managed to get a couple. This first duel cut it very close, but when looking back at the footage we noticed he had popped Aspect of the Wild, which was giving him 20 seconds of faster focus regeneration and a 10% critical strike chance increase. We are not using this buff as critical strike RNG isn't factored in by the sim. When dueling a second time, although Aspect of the Wild was not used, the Void Elf racial popped and gave him a 5% damage buff. In this duel you could start to see the difference in damage done. The last duel with another hunter had similar results to the previous duel. It seems players are favoring the crit buff of Thrill of the Hunt over a Murder of Crows. The simulation avoids RNG talents such as Thrill of the Hunt because it creates unpredictability. As another quick test, we decided to log the single target DPS of the opener on a heroic dungeon boss at item level 64. But this does little than maybe showing just how overpowered BM is already. In another heroic dungeon we managed to be in alongside a fellow Beast Mastery Hunter. Keep in mind again that we were only 4 item levels higher than the entry required for heroics. Some of them were clearly much higher, but we could be sure the other hunter either had similar or better gear than us. During one boss fight, we even forgot to summon the pets, giving the other hunter a head start. Only shortly after do you see the rotation kick in, quickly outpacing him. This last clip we found interesting, as towards the end of the dungeon we realized the druid was eye level 128 and the demon hunter was 111. We were just 64. Granted, they were most likely spec'd for AoE, we thought the difference would be larger. If you tried this opening rotation, we would love to hear feedback from you. So, let's say you want to contribute to a longer fight, but not blow any cooldowns. What would that simulation look like? For the sustained rotation, we blocked the simulation from using Bestial Wrath or Murder of Crows, and left those up to the player to use outside of the rotation. We also forced the same talents as the opener so you don't have to trade one for the other. The only requirement for this rotation is that you are starting with a full focus bar, and both barbed shot charges are available. A little over an hour later, this was the result. Barbed shot, Cobra shot, Chimera shot, Arcane shot, Kill command, Cobra shot, barbed shot, Cobra shot, Cobra shot, Cobra shot, barbed shot, Kill command, and barbed shot. You might be thinking, why Cobra shot 3 times in a row instead of waiting to spend that focus on another ability? The funny answer to that question is, we don't know. The simulation is not forced to pick an ability, in fact. Opting to skip abilities and wait is an option. It would appear that when handling barbed shot, the simulation discovered that waiting and sustaining barbed shot's bleed was more effective than stacking the pet frenzy and focus buff. Here the rotation was once again put into a macro. In this case, we recommend not having the cast sequence reset on target. Without any gear, DPS held at about 340 compared to the opener, which held at 475, roughly 40% higher. Assuming both are equally efficient, this is expected as the sustained rotation was not allowed to use Bestial Wrath or Murder of Crows. Unfortunately, we were unable to test this in random battlegrounds because the differences in item level are very high right now. We really hope you've enjoyed this video, and hopefully you've found the results of the simulation of use. If you have any criticisms or suggestions on our testing methods, please let us know. We are currently holding a poll on Twitter on 3 specs we should do next, but if you would like to see something else, let us know in the comments.